We've spent a good amount of time now going through Mike Winger's thoughts on immigration from a biblical perspective.
Yeah, a lot to unpack there.
It is, and it's pretty clear that there just aren't any simple solutions when it comes to this issue.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
But it does feel like we're left with this question of, okay, so what now?
Right? Like, how do we actually live this out?
Yeah.
How do we as individuals take all this information and actually do something with it?
Well, I think one of the first things Winger encourages us to do is to really take a look in the mirror, to examine our own hearts and ask ourselves, what are my preconceived notions about immigration?
Yeah. Are we letting our own personal experiences or biases or even our political affiliations
Oh, yeah.
cloud our judgment on this issue?
It's so easy to just kind of absorb whatever our preferred news source or social media feed is telling us and call it a day.
It is. But Winger challenges us to dig deeper than that, to really wrestle with those biases and try to understand the issue from multiple perspectives.
Which means, actually listening to the stories of immigrants,
Yes.
hearing their struggles and their hopes and their dreams.
And hearing the concerns of those who maybe are worried about the impact of immigration on their communities.
Yeah, trying to see the issue from both sides.
Right, because we can't really grasp the complexity of it until we've made an effort to walk a mile in someone else's shoes.
Exactly. And then once we've done that work of examining our own hearts, I think the next step is to remember that call for balance that Winger keeps emphasizing.
That balance between compassion and responsibility.
It's so easy to get caught up in the emotional side of things,
It is.
either wanting to just open the borders to everyone or, shut them tight to protect what we have.
Yeah, and Winger gently brings us back to that middle ground, reminding us that both compassion and responsibility are important biblical principles.
And then from there, it seems like the next step is to engage in those hard conversations.
Yes, to really dialogue with people who hold different views than we do.
And to do it respectfully, right?
Absolutely.
Oh.
That's one of the most important things to remember. We can disagree without being disagreeable.
We can challenge each other's ideas without demonizing each other as people.
Right, and it's about remembering that at the end of the day, our ultimate allegiance is to Christ.
Yeah, not to a political party or an ideology.
Exactly.
So how do we do that? How do we actually take all of this and put it into practice in our everyday lives?
Well, I think a good starting point is education.
Okay.
Read Winger's ebook, dive into other resources that are out there from reliable sources, and don't just stick to what's familiar or what's comfortable.
Yeah, expose yourself to different viewpoints. Don't just stay in your little echo chamber.
Exactly. And then get involved in your community, find organizations that are serving immigrants, and volunteer your time. Advocate for just and compassionate policies. You can contact your elected officials. Let your voice be heard, but do it in a way that's respectful and informed.
Yeah, we have to be willing to actually do something. Not just sit back and complain or, virtue signal on social media.
Exactly. It's about taking action.
And I think maybe the most important thing is prayer.
Yes, absolutely. Ask God for wisdom and discernment as you try to navigate this issue.
Yeah, because it is complicated.
It is. And there's so much nuance to consider.
So much to learn.
So much to learn. Exactly.
Well, I think Winger's work has given us a lot to think about and hopefully challenged us to really examine our own hearts on this issue.
Yeah. It's a reminder that as Christians, we're called to be both compassionate and discerning.
To welcome the stranger and to be responsible stewards of our nation.
And to engage with the world around us in a way that honors God and serves our neighbor.
And to never underestimate the power of the gospel.
Yes.
To break down those barriers and build bridges of understanding and reconciliation.
It really can change hearts and minds.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I think the question we're left with is, how can we as individuals make a difference? How can we be voices for justice and compassion in the world while also upholding the values of our nation?
It's a challenge, but it's definitely one worth taking on.
And even in the midst of all the disagreements and the complexities, there's always hope for a better future.
Yes.
A future where we can live together in peace and harmony, respecting each other's differences, while also celebrating that shared humanity that unites us all.
Let's be part of that solution. Let's be those agents of change who are reflecting the love of Christ in everything we do.
So thank you for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll see you next time.